So to get this started, we're going to grab our category 4 yarn. We're going to make a magic circle. So go ahead and take your pointer finger and middle finger, wrap your yarn around those two fingers twice. You're going to grab the tail and the working yarn, and then you're going to pinch it with your ring finger and your thumb. And you're going to hold it all with one hand. And then you're going to take your 5mm hook. You're going to insert it underneath those two loops that's on your two fingers. And then you're going to grab the yarn that's closest to the hook and then pull it underneath the other one. And from here, you're going to pinch everything that's on the hook, and then you're going to grab your yarn the same way that you always hold it, holding the circle between your middle finger and your thumb. And from here, we're going to chain up 3 to secure it, and this counts as a double crochet. And then from here, we're going to double crochet 2 more times into the middle of the circle. Now counting our first chain 3, we have 3 double crochet, and from here we're going to chain 3 and do 3 more double crochet into the loop. And this is going to be one of our corners, and we're going to make 4 of these. So go ahead and chain 3, do a set of 3 double crochet until you have 4 of them. Once we have our 4 sets of 3 double crochet, now we're going to connect it. And remember, we did an original chain 3 as a double crochet, so we're going to count out 3, 1, 2, 3, and insert with a slip stitch. And now that we're here, we can chain up 1, pull, and cut. And from here, we do have this tail, and we have this little gap in the middle. Go ahead and just pull on that tail, and it'll cinch it right in. So now that we have this, we're going to add in our second color for our second row. Go ahead and make a slip knot with our next color. Insert our hook into one of the corners. And then from here, we're going to chain up 3. This chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and we're going to be doing the same thing into this corner. So go ahead and do 2 more double crochet, so we have a total of 3 double crochet. And since we're in a corner, we're going to be chaining 3 and putting another set of 3 double crochet into the same loop. And now that we're here, we're going to need to get to the other corner, so we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do the same thing. So a set of 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, and chain 2 in between to get to the next corner, and keep doing that all the way around. And now that we've made it all the way around, what we're going to do is chain 2 like how we do in between the corners. Then we're going to count up 3 in our original chain 3 that counted as a double crochet and insert with a slip stitch. And from here, go ahead and chain 1, pull, and cut. So we're going to start off this row just like how we've been starting all the other ones. So we're going to insert our hook into any one of these gaps. Grab your other color, go ahead and make a slip knot and pull it through. And then since we're in the middle, we're going to go ahead and chain up 3, and then we're going to do 2 double crochet into the same gap. So from here, I'm sure y'all guessed it, go ahead and chain 2 and then go ahead and do your corner. And your corners are a row of 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, and then everything in between the corners is just going to be a chain 2 in between. And we're going to keep doing this until you get the size that you want. This is the size that I'm going for, and from this end to this end, not counting the white border, it's going to be 5 inches. And then for me, I make sure that my last row is always white so that it matches my sweater. But once when you have all that done, I'll meet you back. So I just got done doing one of our granny squares, and now we're going to connect it to our other granny squares. I actually made 6 of them in total, and I have already connected most of them. But you guys can make as many as you want depending on what you want your sweater to look like. But from here, we're just going to take 2 of our granny squares, and then we're going to put pretty sides facing each other. And then what I like to do, a little trick, is that I like to put the tail ends together so that when I'm connecting them, they can just be seamlessly put in there with our single crochet so we don't have to weave it in later. But other than that, we're just going to sandwich them together. Like I said, we're going to take our same hook, insert it into the corner, grab our yarn, make a slip knot, and then we're going to pull that slip knot through and do a single crochet. And then from here, we're going to be single crocheting once into every loop that we have on both granny squares. Go ahead and insert your hook into the first one, and then you're going to take a look at your second granny square, see the corresponding loop on the other one, insert it into that one, and then single crochet. And then we're going to be doing that all the way down. So this is what we should have so far once we connected 2 of our granny squares together. As you can see, the pretty sides are facing up, and you flip it over, the seam is on the inside. But from here, we're going to be grabbing our other granny squares that we have made, and we're going to be connecting it like this. So it's basically the same thing. Go ahead and put pretty sides together, insert your hook into the corner, and then single crochet once all the way down. Once when you get down, go ahead and cut and tie. So this is what mine's looking like so far. I got done weaving in all my edges, and I just made sure that all of my seams were on one side. But with that being said, now I'm going to work on the back of the top, but while we're working on the back, we're going to want to make sure that it's longer than this portion because this is also going to extend. So I measured mine out and I want my back to be 19 inches. So we're going to toss this aside. We're going to grab our base color yarn, and then for me, I'm going to make a chain that is 19 inches. Once we have our chain, we're going to block off the last chain. Chain up 3, prepare for a double crochet, and go ahead and double crochet once into that loop that we blocked off, or the 4th loop from the hook. And then we're going to be doing 1 single crochet going all the way down the chain. Once we double crocheted all the way down, what we're going to do next is just chain up 3. This counts as a double crochet, flip our work, and then we're just going to be putting 1 double crochet into every loop that we have. And this is going to be our back portion. This is going to be solid, and there's not going to be any increases or decreases. So once when you get to the ends of each row, go ahead and just chain up 3 and then put 1 double crochet into every loop. And we're going to do this until you get the size that you need. So I just finished up doing the back portion of my top. Like I said, the width of this is 19 inches, and then the height of mine is 22 inches. But once when this part's finished, we're going to leave this right here, and we're going to grab our granny square portion. And from here, we're going to add sides to make it even. And I've already added 1 side, and then from here, we're just going to add the next. So how you're going to want to do it is we're going to align the granny square portion with the back portion, and then we're going to measure out this entire thing. And then however many inches this is, you're going to cut this in half, and then you're going to do that many inches on both sides. So I've already done mine, and now I'm going to do my other side, and I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to start at one of the corners. We're going to insert our hook into the corner. We're going to grab our yarn, make a slip knot, insert it onto our hook, pull it through, chain 1 to secure. And from here, I'm going to do a chain that equals out to 3 inches, because that's what I did on this side. Once we have the length that we need, we're going to go ahead and block off that last chain, chain up 3, prepare for a double crochet, and double crochet into that chain that we blocked off, or the 4th loop from the hook. And we're going to go ahead and do double crochets all the way down this row. Once we double crochet down this chain, now we're back to the base, which is where the granny squares are. So we're going to count up 2 loops from where we inserted our hook. So count up 1, 2, go ahead and insert your hook into that 2nd loop with a slip stitch. And from here, we're going to slip stitch into the next 2 loops. Once we have that, we're going to flip our work, and then we're going to double crochet into every loop that we have, going into the back loops only. Once we made it to the end, go ahead and chain up 3, flip our work, and do more rows of double crochet going back down. Once when we get to the base of the granny squares, count up 2, do a slip stitch up the next 2, and then double crochet back down. And we're going to keep doing that down the length of our granny square. So once when I'm done doing each of my side panels, you're going to want to make sure that you have the same amount of rows on both. And for me, I have 36 on both sides. If not, then you can always adjust one side. But now we're going to be doing the top border and the bottom border. And so from here, what you're going to do is that you're going to take your back piece, and then you're going to compare the amount of rows that you have. So from me, the front, where the granny squares are, I have 36 rows, and then for the back I have 42 rows. So you're going to want to make sure that that's even. So I have a 7-row difference. So for me, since mine are uneven, the top of mine is going to be 3 rows, and then the bottom of mine is going to be 4 rows. But I'm going to work on the top row. So from here, we're going to chain up 3. This counts as a double crochet, flip our work, and then we're going to be double crocheting once into every loop that we have. Once when you get to the end, all you're going to do is chain up 3. This counts as a double crochet, and go ahead and double crochet back down for as many rows as you need. And this goes for both top and bottom. Now that we have both the top and the bottom border done, we can put this away for now, because now we're going to be working on the sleeve. Now for this, we're going to want to measure out how long we want our sleeves to be. So go ahead and take what we have, either the front or the back portion, and measure it up to yourself, and then measure out how long your sleeve is. And mine is going to be a chain of 18 inches. Now once when we have our chain, we're going to block our chain off with our finger, and we're going to chain up 3. This counts as a double crochet. Prepare for a double crochet, and go ahead and double crochet into that chain that we blocked off, or the 4th chain from the hook, and go ahead and do 1 double crochet in every loop that we have, going back down the chain. Once we are done with our first row of double crochet, we're going to chain up 3. This counts as a double crochet. flip our work, prepare for double crochet, and from here we're going to double crochet once in every loop going back down our first row, but we're going to do an increase at the end. So go ahead and do a double crochet until we have 2 loops left. Once we have our 2 loops left, we're going to do an increase on this end. So go ahead and put 2 double crochet into the second to last loop, and then do 1 double crochet into the last loop. And that is our increase. And then from here, we're going to chain up 3, flip our work, put 1 double crochet into the same loop that we're in, and then keep doing this until you get the size that you need. So I just finished the pattern where I increase on one side, and in total I have 7.5 inches, and then my length is 22.5, and then just as a reference, I have 14 rows. But once when we're here, this should be at the shoulder part of the sleeve. So from here, the next 2 rows are just going to be of double crochets. So what you're going to do from here is chain up 3, flip your work, then double crochet once into every loop that we have. Once we're done with our first row of solid double crochet, like I said, we're going to do 1 more. So go ahead and chain up 3, flip your work, and then go ahead and double crochet once into every loop going back down. So now that I'm finished doing my 2 rows of solid double crochet, what we're going to do now is on the side that we did our increases, we are now going to decrease. So since we ended on this side, we're going to chain up 3, flip our work, then double crochet once into every loop that we have going all the way back down. And once when we get to the end, we are going to leave 3 loops. So now that we've double crocheted all the way down and we have 3 loops left, now we're going to do a decrease. So how we do that? So we're going to yarn over, insert a hook into the first loop, yarn over, pull through 1, insert our hook into the next loop, yarn over, pull through. From here we're going to yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2. And then in the very last one, go ahead and just do 1 double crochet. So from here, we're going to chain up 3, flip our work, and we're going to decrease again. So one more time, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the first loop, yarn over, pull through, insert our hook into the second loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2. And from here, double crochet once into every loop that we have, going back down. Once when we get to the blunt end, chain up 3, and then double crochet back down, and then decrease. And then once when you're done, you should make sure that you have the same amount of increasing and decreasing rows just to make sure that they're even. So I just got done doing our sleeve, and just as a reference, I have 15 inches in total from top to bottom. And then this is what our end looks like. And from here, we're going to work along the blunt end. If you ended on this side, go ahead and cut and tie, and then insert your hook onto the blunt end. But since I'm here, what we're going to do is chain up 1, and then we're going to be decreasing this side because this is where our cuff's going to be. We want that to cinch into our wrist a little bit more. So we typically do 2 double crochet in each side double crochet. And for the first one, we will go ahead and do 2 single crochet. And then for the next side double crochet, we're just going to be doing 1 single crochet. And then into the third, go ahead and do 2. And we're going to be alternating like this all the way down. So once we've done our row of single crochet all the way down, now we're going to be working on the cuff. And so from here, we're going to chain out 1 inch. Once when we have that, we're going to block off the last chain that we have. Chain up 3, prepare for a double crochet. Go ahead and insert your hook into that loop that we blocked off, or the 4th loop from the hook. And then double crochet once into every loop that we have going back down our chain. And now that we've double crocheted back down our chain, now we're going to be connecting it into the base of the sleeve. So how we're going to do this is that we're going to count up 3, 1, 2, 3, insert your hook into that 3rd loop with a slip stitch. And then once when we have that, we're going to slip stitch into the next 3 loops that we have going back up our base. And once we get here, we're going to flip our work. We're going to prepare for a double crochet, and we're going to double crochet once into every loop that we have going into the back loops only. And once we have our first 2 rows, we're going to chain up 3, flip our work, and we're going to do the same thing and keep doing this until you go all the way down. Once when you get done with the cuff, go ahead and cut and tie, and then you're going to make a second one. Once when you have both of your sleeves made, go ahead and set this aside for now. Now we're going to grab the main portions of our sweater. So from here, we're going to be connecting everything together. First, we're going to lay down our back piece, and then we're going to lay down our front piece, which has all of the granny squares on it. And then from here, you're just going to want to make sure that all of the seams are facing one direction, and they're going to be facing up, because all the seams are going to be on one side, and once when we flip it over, it'll look clean on the other side. But from here, we're going to want to count how many rows we have for our sleeve right at the halfway point. So in total, I have 30 rows, and so my halfway point will be 15. So counting up from the top where you're going to want your top of your sweater to be, you're going to count out 15 rows of these double crochets and then put a marker in there. Once we've marked off where your sleeves are going to be, you're going to start working on the bottom corner. So you're going to flip it, making sure that you're holding both of your pieces together. You're going to insert your hook into one of the corners and then also into the corner of the back piece as well. From here, you're going to make a slip knot, insert it onto your hook, go ahead and pull through and chain up 1 to secure. Now here we're going to be working in each of these side double crochet rows, and we're just going to be putting 2 single crochets into each of them. So go ahead and insert your hook, making sure that it's going through both pieces, the front and the back piece, and then we're going to single crochet. Now I've done 2 single crochet into the first side double crochet that we have, and we're just going to continue on with that pattern until we reach the bottom of this marker. Now if we did everything correctly, there should be the same amount of rows in the front piece as we have in the back piece, and we do. So we're going to go ahead and chain up 1 and cut, and then we're going to do the same thing that we did here on the other side. Once we have our second side connected, now we're going to be connecting our sleeves. So from here we don't need our markers anymore, so we can take these out. And from here we're just going to insert our hook, not into both sides anymore, we're going to separate them. Insert our hook into one side, grab our sleeve, and then insert our hook into this corner. So the side where it comes up into a taper, we're going to be working into that side. Go ahead and attach your sleeve and then connect with a single crochet to secure it. And from here we're going to be connecting it the same way that we've been doing it. So do 2 single crochet into each side double crochet that we have. So we just finished doing one side. Now we're going to connect the other side to finish doing our first sleeve. So from here what we're going to do is we're just going to twist our hook a little bit, and then from here we're going to grab the front piece. We're going to insert our hook into the front piece and then bring the rest of our sleeve over, and then we're going to go into the next available side double crochet that we have and keep doing the single crochet pattern that we've been doing. Once we've made our way back down, we're going to insert our hook into one of these corners, it doesn't really matter which one, with a slip stitch just to connect everything. And from here we're going to insert our hook into the length of the sleeve so we can connect this as well. So insert our hook into the first loop that we have, and then also into the next loop of the other side of the sleeve. Connect with a single crochet and go ahead and do this all the way down. Once when you get to the end, go ahead and chain up 1 to secure and cut. Now everything that we did on this side, we're going to do it again on the other side. So once we've connected both sleeves, next we're going to be working on the bottom border. So from here we're going to insert our hook into any one of these loops, it doesn't matter which one. We're going to grab our yarn, make a slip knot, and then we're going to make a chain of 1.5 inches. Once we have our chain, go ahead and block off that last chain. Chain up 3, prepare for a double crochet, insert your hook into that loop that we blocked off with a double crochet, and then go ahead and double crochet once into every loop that we have, going back down our chain. And once we made it to the end, this is going to be a similar way that we did the cuffs, but instead of counting up 3, I'm going to count up 2. So now that we're at the base, go ahead and count up 2, insert your hook with a slip stitch into the next 2 loops, flip our work, and then prepare for a double crochet, and go ahead and double crochet once into every loop that we have, but going into the back loops only. And we're going to do this for the entirety of the bottom of the border. So keep doing this until you get to the end. So once you made it all the way around, you're going to want to connect it. And how we do that, we're going to do it the same way that we've been doing everything else. We're basically just going to sandwich it together, insert our hook into the other piece, and then single crochet all the way down. So one of the last things that we have to do for this is do the neck portion, and you can go ahead and make a turtleneck if you'd like. I do have a video on how to do that. I'll link that in the description, but I'm just going to keep mine as a regular crew neck. And I went ahead and marked off where I want the head portion to start. So I went ahead and measured it, and from shoulder to where it's going to start is 5 inches, and from where just the head is going to be 8 inches. So from here, where we're going to start is in one of the shoulders. It doesn't matter which one. Go ahead and grab it, insert your hook into the first loops that you have, grab your yarn, make a slip knot, and then from here we're just going to pull it through both pieces that we have, just like before, sandwiching them together and single crocheting through both loops that we have until we get to our marker down here. Now that I made it to where my markers are, I'm not going to be sandwiching them anymore. I'm just going to be working into one side. Go ahead and single crochet once into one side until we get to the marker over here. Once we get over here, sandwich them together and then connect this again, and then we're going to come back and do an extra row of single crochet on the one side that we didn't do it on. Once we single crocheted once around the head opening and closed in both shoulders, now we need to do the border for the neck. So we're going to grab our yarn, make a slip knot, and then we can insert our hook into anywhere. It doesn't matter. I like to put it in the back. Go ahead and chain out an inch. And from here, this is going to be the same way that we did the bottom border, but one more time, we're just going to block off the last chain up 3, prepare for a double crochet, insert your hook into that chain that we blocked off or the 4th loop from the hook with a double crochet, and double crochet once into every loop going all the way down. Once we double crocheted all the way down, we're going to count out 2 loops in the base, 1, 2, insert your hook with a slip stitch, and from here count up 2 more slip stitches, 1, 2, flip your work, prepare for double crochet, and double crochet once into every loop going into the back loops only. And once when our collar reaches all the way around, go ahead and sandwich them together and single crochet everything together and cut and tie. And once when we're done with that, go ahead and weave in all of our ends. And once when you're done weaving in all the ends, this is our finished piece. Thank you so much for sticking to the end, because I know that this was a long one, but please let me know in the comments if you like long videos like this with timestamps, or if you like videos that are cut up into shorter individual videos. But either way, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel, and you can also follow me on both Instagram and Twitter at TCDDIY. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one.